I'm in the middle of drawing a sprite of Razor talking.
Hot.
Do you not realize what I just said?
Yeah?
So, meaning that Razor's going to be fully animated.
Hot.
Kind of.
Now
I
draw
haven't
him
started
having
this yet.
sex.
What the fuck?
Oy vey.
You don't think. I think you kill. That's a simple fucking concept. Forgot I drew a female character.
All right, so are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. Also, I just want to mention I'm going to be recording a separate intro for this video, so don't worry about. So don't worry about any sort of like, hey guys, me the Clayman Films, and this is Razor, and welcome to this fucking essay video or something like that, you know.
Yeah, I gotta fucking find a website, download it, and then I gotta do all that bullshit.
Okay. Anywho, and now we talk about Kingdom Come Superman and why he's better than Injustice Superman. All right, here we go.
Yeah, this was original. This is like a weird collaboration between the two of us.
Yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
my God.
what?
That microphone feedback just. Oh.
Usually my videos are a lot more serious. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. All right, for real this time. So.
For real.
You son of a bitch.
Okay. But anyways, let's get to it.
Yes. So before we can even consider talking about the story of Kingdom Come and the Superman that originates in it and why he's better than the Injustice Superman and why this, that, and XYZ to the square root of -3 or whatever, we need to talk about the development and how Kingdom Come as a comic freaking
as a comic series,
yeah,
and
as
a character has grown.
Well,
so practically
not as grown, but rather where it was originally conceived. Where it was conceived sounds so fucking weird.
Yeah, where it was originally. Man, we're fucking stupid.
where the concept came from originally, who created it, and why it was created. So let's get into that.
And not only that, just to kind of just go ahead and explain that Kingdom Come is like me and his favorite Superman, so, and there's a good reason for it, so.
Well, it's one of my favorites. It's not, I wouldn't say he is the favorite.
But I mean, well, you know me, I'm not really, I'm not as much of a Superman fan as you, but.
Well, that's because you're a nerd.
What? Hot? Yeah, but practically we're just gonna explain like how Kingdom Come Superman is just written a lot better than Injustice, and then we'll go on to the development of the story and all that. So, just oh man, Oh!
Yeah, go on.
But practically we're gonna like usually when it comes to my videos, I don't go for every single little detail because I feel like that it's just explaining the same story over and over and over again about a character. But in this case, we kind of need to. This is a more in-depth character. This is a more kind of serious character, and also we gotta explain why Kingdom Come is better than Injustice Superman
All right.
and all that.
So here we go. So, contrary to quite a lot of other Superman stories previous to this one, well, I guess this wasn't. Yeah, I guess you could consider it a Superman story. It could also be considered a Justice League story. But anyways, this story was originally conceived by the comic book artist Alex Ross, who is not a writer of any sort, not outside of, this one. And
A legend that was made.
And he decided to, create Kingdom Come sort of as DC's variant to the Marvel's comic, which was released by Marvel Entertainment in 94.
Yeah.
And so essentially he tried, well, he didn't try, but he wrote a 40-page outline of what Kingdom Come was going to become, and
Cool. Okay, I'll shut up. Just keep going.
anyways, and he pitched the idea to James Robinson, as he pitched the idea as something similar to The Watchmen, and apparently Alan Moore's Twilight of the Superheroes, which was never released, by the way. I don't know. There's okay. I'm gonna be truthful here. I'm just reading this from the Wikipedia page on the Kingdom Come comics series, and there's not much information to go on development wise.
There's not much information to go on development wise and everything else.
Because it's literally just like a single. There's like 1, 2, 3 sentences here.
Yeah. There's not much on it. It's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like that how I couldn't really get much information on Zilla Jr. So we're working what we got here.
So if you all think, oh, you're just reading off the Wikipedia page. No shit, Sherlock. That's the only source of information regarding the development, you fucking dumbass. Anyways.
Oh my god! Okay!
Anywho, I don't know. I don't know why Alex Ross didn't go with either James Robinson or what happened between him and James Robinson. I don't know if James Robinson turned it down point is, James Robinson was not the writer of Kingdom Come, and ultimately Alex Ross decided to go with Mark Waid, who is a writer. And he was actually recommended by the DC editors due to Mark Waid writing a ton of comic book stories with DC's characters, mainly the superheroes. And so with that, it took about around 2 years to create this comic. And then it finally released in 1996. And to set the stage for you, around this time that Kingdom Come had come out, it was released during an era where The Punisher was pretty popular. Venom got his own comic book.
Yeah, he got his own comic book series and everything, and yeah.
Long story short, there was a lot of edgy comics out there, and the old school, haha, Superman saves the day, whoop-de-doo, from like the 1960s and 70s was basically just gone by that point.
And I'm pretty sure also Spawn came out in like 1996 or something like that. So it also had that.
When did Spawn come out?
When did Spawn come out? It was around 1996 or probably 95, but if not, I'm wrong. But
May 1992, so it's still in the same time frame.
So I was correct.
Yeah. But anyways, essentially a lot of edgy comics and, just stuff that was really dark, and there were a lot of nihilistic things were released. And Marvel was on the brink of bankruptcy. DC was not doing well, because they were pumping out, basically stuff that people didn't want to read.
Yeah, and as a guy that really likes dark comics and all that, I do like to read my occasional actual legitimate superhero comic too. So I feel like that at this time I would have loved that era, but at the same time I would have probably read the other comics too. But yeah, no.
And then Kingdom Come released, and DC was practically saved, and I'm pretty sure Marvel had its own bounce back. I don't know when that happened, but
we don't care about Marvel here. We're talking about DC.
Yeah. So, anywho, Kingdom Come has only 4 issues to it. Very short, but it's very good. We take the perspective of a minister, a man who leads a religious congregation. His name is Norman McKay, and he is essentially your average. He's basically the guy that you go to and you sit down in the pew and you listen to him read scriptures for Sunday or for Sunday morning or whenever you go to church.
Or Monday or the entire week.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Whenever you go to church, he's there. He's the guy that reads the stuff.
He's the guy. He reads the good shit.
Anyways, so the story is told through Norman McKay, and he receives however things are drastically different because unlike basically every other Sunday preacher and a minister, he receives apocalyptic visions of the future from the Sandman who died earlier in the story.
Yeah.
And then and after a sort of dookie Sunday service, the Spectre, he shows up and he appears to McKay and he recruits him to pass judgment upon what is going to be the superhuman apocalypse.
Yeah. So, if his name is the Spectre again? His name is the Spectre?
Yes, the Spectre.
So, if you don't know who the Spectre is in DC, isn't he like God or something like that?
No, he is not. Okay. He is not God.
I'm probably thinking of somebody else then.
I think you're thinking of the One Above All, or
Oh yeah, the one above all. Okay, my bad. Misinformation. Sorry, don't hate me.
Anyways, so the reason why the Spectre is recruiting this ordinary man to pass judgment on superhumans is because said superhumans have decided to basically fight each other whenever they feel like it, wherever they feel like it, and damned to everybody who gets caught in the crossfire.
Wait a fucking. Okay. I know this is not fun. I know this is not funny, but why did I think of No, I forgot what the game's called, but there's a game where you just walk around and you can just fight anybody that you would like to.
Think of The Boys, but on like such a massive scale. There's no VOT whatsoever. There's no compound V. Everybody is just trying to kill each other. That's all the superhumans are trying to kill each other, and average Joes like you and me are like, "Holy piss! Is that fucking Spider-Man?" And then we all die.
Yeah, holy fuck! It's the fucking minions from fucking Despicable Me or whatever the fuck
What
it is.
the fuck? Okay, that was not accurate, but everything we just said there inaccurate. But anyways,
inaccurate or stupid. Okay.
but anyways, the reason behind why all these superhumans are fighting each other and why nobody such as Superman or the Justice League are intervening is because many years before this, there was a incident with the Joker where the Joker had went to Metropolis, went into the Daily Planet, and basically committed mass murder on everybody that was in the Daily Planet. And that included Lois Lane. And she wanted Superman to, continue to do what he was doing, but don't break his moral code. And Superman was like, "Okay, cool. We'll do that.
Just don't
or
go
I'll do that.
just don't go ape shit." That's what she's practically saying.
Yeah, and they find the Joker, and then this new guy called Magog, who has zero moral compass, decides, "Haha, guess what, Joker? You're dead." Boom.
Why? Oh! But so practically he walks in or whatever with no moral compass, like he said, and he unalives the Joker.
No, kills the Joker. We are not using unalive.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. No, he fucking murdered him. He fucking annihilated him. Reduced to atoms. Gone. Gone. Nothing left. Blood stains everywhere. The walls are painted. Happy.
Anyways. Yeah. So Magog kills the Joker, Superman arrests Magog, and Magog is put on trial. But everybody, literally everybody, is questioning why Superman is still, super old school in his values. And, questions why wasn't the Joker taken care of 10 years ago when he was a menace, and then when this guy shows up, kills him, and then you arrest him? What kind of backwards logic is that? That is essentially what everybody was asking.
And if you're wondering, then like killing somebody like that, it doesn't matter how bad they are. If you kill them, it shows how much more. How am I supposed to say this?
It sets a bad precedent. So let's
it doesn't
say
just set it doesn't just set a bad precedent or whatever. It sets a you're no better than them.
It sets a bad example for future heroes. So let's say, for example, there is somebody, mass murderer. He's on the run, and now he's holding up a school. And now he's holding up, let's say, I don't know, your local gas station, and you happen to be in it. You have a gun, and then you shoot and kill him. Yes, it might have been the right thing to do to save those people, but it doesn't set a good example. Because the law because there are certain things, because there are certain laws that we need to follow. And
yes,
I know that's sort of not comparable here, but
it's actually that's actually perfect, because to even because I'm gonna say this, why not? I kind of touch on how in my recent video Spawn, how his morals are good in the right place, but he does it in a very horrible way. So it doesn't set a good taste in anybody's mouth.
Yeah.
It's bad, and it makes them no better.
And it's
the guy.
And it's just like the Punisher too, actually.
Yeah.
What good is killing the common street criminal? You're not supposed to be judge, jury, and then executioner. That's not how things are supposed to work.
Yeah. And that's the entire thing. If any of you guys think that a mass murderer should be killed, they should be punished with the time in jail. More than anything.
Or through a death sentence that is ordered
legally
by the judicial system.
Yeah. In this case, we just saw a hero, a young hero, kill a villain,
and then
that makes him no better.
And in the following days, there's a poll, for which brand of justice should be used, and everybody in that comic, or at least the everyday folk, they voted for Magog because he presented quick and efficient ways to get rid of villains, and that showed Superman in that moment decided, well, in that case, I'm out of here, and he left because there's nothing to change their mind in any of that. The thing is, they already decided, and if they want to decide to choose this guy that killed Joker, then fine. If you don't want me, then good luck with him. Also, I'm going to mention something very important. When I mentioned these superhumans battling each other, and with everybody in the crossfire be damned, there is a very tiny distinction between the heroes and the villains. There is the line has by the time the Kingdom Come story begins. And I'm not talking about when the Daily Planet is the scene for, mass murder. I'm talking about when Norman McKay becomes our point of view into their story. Yeah. The line has gotten so blurred where we're from a human perspective, somebody who has no powers at all. There are no heroes and villains. There are just superhumans who fight each other, and if you're caught, and if you somehow happen to be in the middle of that fight, well then, good fucking luck. Yeah. And practically there's no moral. There's no evil or good in this. This is just complete war between two sides of superhumans. Anywho, we've stayed on this part long enough. So during this time, Wonder Woman tries to get Superman back into action. And the reason why is because Parasite, one of Superman's rogues, is attacked by Magog and his own team of quote-unquote heroes, and it all goes awry when Captain Atom is torn apart by Parasite. And then, as a result, basically, the food production... Well, I'm just gonna say it. Kansas is gone. It got irradiated. It got irradiated, Chernobyl style.
Yeah, it got
food
it
is gone. Millions are dead, and the United States is now crippled. And now Wonder Woman, and with Wonder Woman seeing this, she's trying to get Superman back into action.
And that's and that is the most important thing that we need to remember. Is this is a Superman that felt like that okay, I'm going to try to explain this with my knowledge, at least. This is a Superman that decided to turn his back on the people because they saw the easy way out of everything. Because like oh my god, I'm sorry, I cannot speak. This is a Superman that decided to live his life. If it's like if you... What are you laughing at me for? I'm trying to speak.
What?
Oh, sorry. Sound like you.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Okay, but cut this out. I kind of want you to. We need this for bloopers. This is a Superman that went like, okay, fine. You pushed me. I'm gonna go head off. And if you don't want me, fine. And Wonder Woman's trying to convince him to come back. To get him back into tip-top shape so he can save the world.
And if you all are wondering where Superman has been, he's basically been in the Fortress of Solitude for the past 10 years in the story. Fictional on a farm that he's made, and it looks like a farm from the Midwest.
Yes. Looks absolutely beautiful. But anyways, keep on with the story.
Anywho, so Superman initially says no to Wonder Woman, and then she leaves. But then he goes to this room that, basically it has all, every single news channel in the world playing on it. And he sees that Kansas has gotten basically Chernobyled. And he decides, all right, I think it's time for me to get back in the game. And so essentially Superman returns to Metropolis and he reforms the Justice League. Except there's one prominent member missing from this roster. And that's Batman.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's Batman.
And Batman, and the reason why Batman does not join is because he resented Superman for leaving a decade prior. And he basically tells, Clark that your ideas are outdated, and if you continue to interfere with things, it's only going to get worse. And long story short, that's partially true, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? Because Bruce and Clark are practically like brothers. Yeah. They are family. And I bet Clark does understand why. Because, like, why Bruce is this way. Because if anybody can understand Bruce Banner, it's Clark Kent.
Yeah.
So he would completely understand if Batman didn't join. And you Batman fanboys down there, I don't want to hear prep time. Screw you. But anyways, go right ahead. Keep going.
So anyways, so essentially Batman turns down Superman's proposal to rejoin the Justice League. Superman opts to leave, and in response to the Justice League being reactivated, Batman creates his own little alliance called the Outsiders. And the Outsiders are made up of basically second and third generation heroes. Essentially, people who didn't fall into the category of, oh, we're superhumans, now let's fight those other superhumans, and if anybody else is there, then fuck them.
Fuck you. Why was that funny?
I don't know. But anyways.
Yeah.
So, however, that is not the only alliance in this comic, as Lex Luthor and his gang of thugs also organize their own little group called the Mankind Liberation Front, and it's full of Golden Age villains and a bunch of newer guys.
Yeah.
And the one thing that sets them extremely, and the one thing that makes the MLF dangerous is the fact that Lex Luthor has Billy Batson.
Oh shit! I didn't know about that.
He has Billy Batson on his side. I'm going to get to why that is later, but anyways. So we follow the comic, and essentially Superman and the Justice League intervene against basically every single rogue superhuman incident possible. There are a bunch of immigrants and refugees trying to get into the United States, and these superhumans aren't allowing it. Well, guess what? The Justice League and Superman show up, and they put an end to that.
Yep.
And after that, Superman goes to the United Nations, and essentially what he does, well, he doesn't go to the United Nations, so to speak, but he does go to where
does he go?
Shut up. All right, hold on. I'm getting my sources of information. Yeah, okay. I'm cutting this part out. Oh, great, you muted yourself, you stupid bitch.
What? Wait, what? Yet again. We gotta have a bloopers area.
So yeah, Superman and the Justice League go to the United Nations, and at a press conference, they essentially say that with the rogue superhumans on the loose, they're going to deal with them.
Indeed, they are.
However, it's not the way you would expect it. It's not the way you would expect justice to be served. And I'll get to that later. And the United Nations are not confident that Superman is is going to achieve his goal, or rather, the UN is not confident that Superman's goals of restoring peace are going to be in the best interest of humanity.
Yeah. Practically, they don't really believe that. Trying to think of how like to say this, because it's very complex. Hello, did I die?
No, you're
Uh-oh.
still here.
I guess the way that they're trying to say is that they don't really believe in Superman, really, here. They don't believe that Superman can fix the world that he left and everything.
Yeah.
So, in that case, they have no really good hope.
But regardless of what the UN or Batman think about these goals, Superman and the Justice League press on, and they negotiate with anybody who's willing to be like, hey, I'm down to fight for truth, justice, and the American way, or they fight those who decide, hey, guess what? Fuck you, I'm gonna do my own thing.
I don't know why that was so funny. Hey, fuck you. I'm gonna do my own thing.
And however, as time goes on, it's becoming apparent to Superman that more and more superhumans are starting to see Superman and the Justice League more as a authoritarian and a more authoritarian and police state kind of force versus what they used to be. And
yeah,
he tries to talk with Arthur Curry, Orion, and Mr. Miracle and Big Barda for answers, because he doesn't really know what to do.
yeah.
But while he's on Apokolips after Darkseid had died, he's alerted that Magog was found in what's left of Kansas, trying to rebuild and failing miserably.
Yeah.
And Superman confronts him. Magog blames Superman for leaving and causing the disaster in correlation to that. And Superman, basically an argument ensues, or argument, quote unquote, but it was rather Magog basically lamenting and regretting, and Superman sort of says, he says, you must be proud, rather mockingly, and Magog blasts Superman, but, it don't do shit.
It just doesn't do anything, because this is a Superman that has been sitting in the Fortress of Solitude for fucking 10 years. So
after that, essentially they decide to build a prison built to house superhumans in Kansas, right in the wasteland where that caused Superman to come back in the first place. And during this time, Bruce Wayne and Batman or Bruce Wayne, otherwise known as Batman. Duh. So Bruce, he sees that the Justice League are building this prison, and he decides to make a unusual alliance. Now, I want you to guess. Who does he make this alliance with?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Why do I have a feeling it's something to do with Lex?
Guess.
Yeah. I kind of knew, like, it was weird. Oh no. That ain't good. That's really fucking bad, actually.
Yep.
Oh, man. I haven't sweared this much in a video in a while.
And so... And that's how and that's how volume, or that's how issue 2 ends.
Yeah.
And all right.
Is that all we're gonna talk about? Or
No, there's more. And so essentially,
Okay.
with this prison built, it's been dubbed the Gulag, and all these superhumans that have been beaten and essentially apprehended are sent to this Gulag for reformation. And
Yeah.
and because of
Oh
its
my
vast
God, no.
and because of how big it was intended to house prisoners for many months to come, with the plan that, they will reform, they will come and go, and we will gain more people in the ranks of the Justice League. It filled up over capacity within 2 weeks.
God damn.
However, it was able to contain all of its prisoners, so that's good. And essentially, yeah, that's basically how it is. And
Yeah.
and Lex Luthor has somebody, he has an in the Gulag, and he knows what's going on there. And essentially, basically, he gets the plan to send in Billy Batson on the Gulag, basically shatter it open and spread forth absolute chaos that would unfold.
Oh boy.
And, but that's for later on. Meanwhile, Superman and Wonder Woman have a conversation about basically everything that's gone down, and it's in this conversation that Wonder Woman reveals that she had been exiled from Paradise Island for failing in her mission as the Amazon's ambassador for peace.
Yeah.
And it's here that I would like to take a little detour and talk about Superman some more.
Indeed.
Throughout the story so far, we've seen him act rather authoritarian and less jovial like he used to.
Yeah.
It seems like he's more of the disappointed parent that's come to, or rather the teacher who's returned to a classroom that has been absolutely decimated by his kindergarten class, and now he has to basically and now he has to discipline all of them. And they are quite the unruly bunch too, so it makes it extra hard on them.
That's actually, like, that's perfect. That's like perfectly explained right there.
And well, and it and in my personal theory is that Superman, well, I guess it's less of a theory, more of just, how Superman feels. What I am assuming is that Superman feels pretty conflicted about how he's going about things. Because yes, he's being
Yeah.
super authoritarian, but he hasn't killed anybody. He hasn't gone all out on anyone. All he's
Yeah.
done is just try to restore peace in any way he can, and he's unfortunately had to resort to some less than moral methods because, you know, according to everybody else, his morals are outdated and, you know, and no longer
Everything about him
useful.
is he is just he's practically looked at as like the old like 70s car that nobody wants to run with no more.
What the fuck are you talking about? Those are collector vehicles.
What I'm trying to say is that he's practically like the old school looking like muscle car that nobody wants to ride in, and they want to use like the new stuff or whatever. You know, that's what I'm saying.
I think a more comparable thing is some is basically your grandpa who has old fashioned values about the world. And
Yeah,
here he is in 2024 still trying to instill those old fashioned values in, in the next generation. And it ain't working well. And so now he has to resort to some rather underhanded things to try to, still do that. And in comparison, Wonder Woman is more aggressive. She views the superhumans as a threat to peace and security, and she is going to do anything by all means necessary to ensure that the peace, that global peace, is not fractured, if that makes sense. Anyways, enough about those two. It's now back to Lex Luthor and Billy Batson. And guess what? You want to know how Billy Batson is on his side?
sure. Let's see
It
what
ain't by
happens.
choice. That's for sure. So essentially, Lex Luthor got these worms, these special worms made by Dr. Sivana, who's dead or whatever. And essentially, he tortures Billy Batson by making him watch mental images of himself and his friends being slaughtered by superhumans.
Yeah,
And
that's
and it causes the worms to crawl in and out of Batson's ears, and he is unable to say Shazam.
so fucked up.
And after that, Lex joins Bruce Wayne in a war room later on, where basically Bruce reveals his team and reveals that his team is ready to lend support to the MLF. However, Bruce speaks with Martian Manhunter, who was crippled. He has a different idea rather than what Lex Luthor does. or what rather than what Lex Luthor has. Anywho, so basically, in the new Watchtower or whatever made by Green Lantern, there's doubt within the Justice League about whether Superman's plans are actually going to work, because with the Gulag overcapacity within 2 weeks and is still filling up with superhumans, there is a real concern that there's going to be a superhuman riot within the prison. They're going to break out, and then they would spread basically the conflict all over the world again, and that would be basically all of their work undone.
Yeah. And it's difficult because is it gonna work? Is it not? They just have to see and trust Superman, I guess, in this situation.
However, the Flash, who has turned basically into who's turned into a blur by this point, he does. Wally West does. He can. It looks like he can't stand still, but he probably is. Anyways, Wally West can see Norman McKay and the Spectre, who are invisible to everybody else up until that point in the story, and he nabs McKay from the Spectre's from the spirit realm or wherever they're at into reality, into a room full of basically the Justice League and a bunch of other superheroes and Superman. And when Superman questions Norman, Norman's only answers comes from the Bible or scripture, I suppose.
Yeah.
And Superman is rather confused by this answer. He's like, what the hell does that supposed to mean?
It's especially if I try to explain something to you.
Yeah, and however, his attention is turned away when Dick Grayson basically says, or not basically, but says that a riot has broken out in the Gulag.
Shit went wild. And
so with that, he turns his attention away from him, and the Spectre takes McKay back into the spirit realm, and he vanishes. Anyways, Wonder Woman in an immediate response sends the Flash, Green Lantern, and Empower Woman. The fuck? Okay. Basically Kara Zor-El to deal with the riot. And while that happens, her and Superman are going to speak to the Secretary General of the United Nations about the massively growing concern of the Gulag, which is smack dab in the United States, in Kansas, where there was basically a nuclear explosion and nuclear irradiation.
Yeah.
And Lex Luthor is happy about all this because, you know, his plan is going going his way. And now he's going to send Billy Batson to basically crack open the Gulag and cause absolute chaos. However, this is when Bruce turns on Lex Luthor and the Outsiders fight the MLF, and Bruce tries to keep Batson from calling on Shazam because he wants to, he wants the situation to stay contained. And unfortunately,
yeah,
in a flurry of events, Batson gets covered in worms, the same worms that were crawling in and out of his ears. He gets scared at this, calls upon Shazam, and basically vanishes. And that is not good. Because now shit is about to hit the fan. Huge time. Like massively huge.
Yeah.
Anyways, back at the back at the main Justice League base, Wonder Woman armors up and as she's doing this, Superman's like trying to talk her down, trying to reason with her, but she ain't having it, and especially not after hearing the news that Captain Comet, the warden of the Gulag, was killed. And here we see that Superman is desperately trying to do things the peaceful way.
Yes.
We can still see that he's still wanting to do things the right way. But the opportunity to do things the absolutely wrong way and to basically fight all of the rioters would be so very easy.
But not only that, it would be devastating too.
Yeah.
It's not just that it would be easy and all that. It's devastating.
And there's this argument, and Wonder Woman basically sees that she cannot convince Superman that her way is the right way. And so she gives him a kiss that is devoid of any passion whatsoever. It is so deadpan, it's not even, it's like...
Wonder Woman gives who a kiss?
Superman.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Fuck that! That's not my mom. Fuck her. Don't let my mom watch this because my mom's a huge Wonder Woman.
Well, I'm
fan.
cutting that out. So
good.
So anyway, she kisses him and then she leaves with anybody who's willing to fight the superhumans in the prison. And, well, Superman realizes that, well, there's only one person I can go to who might have any sort of wisdom to try and help me in this. And so he basically flies to Superman, or he flies to the Batcave in a last-ditch effort to have Bruce help him. And you know how Batman is. He tried, or at least in some iterations, how they portray him as more sort of high and mighty, I guess, to make him seem cooler. Superman shuts that down right away. What
the fuck is what?
What the fuck happened?
I hear the make him seem
bruh.
Like, I'm not joking. What?
So okay, so back to, all right. I'm cutting that part out too. So they make him seem a little bit more high They sort of put him on a high horse, you know, morally speaking, to sort of dunk on Superman a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Superman in this comic shuts that down right away and lays it all out, basically saying that, look, if you don't help me, things are going to go super bad pretty quick, and you've always been there, and you've always and we've always counted on you, and now is not the time to, you know, basically be like, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't have left 10 years ago. Because this ain't the time for that. However, Batman drops the bombshell that Captain Marvel was brainwashed and is now heading for the gulag at you know, basically high speeds. And with Superman hearing that, he's gone. He's racing to the gulag because if Captain Marvel gets there before him, it could mean it could be a absolute disaster of epic proportions. Because let's take a look at all the sides here. We have the superhumans that are rioting against the Justice League, who came in to try to contain this riot. We're about to have the outsiders join in on the fun. We have Superman trying to come in to stop this. We have Captain Marvel, who got brainwashed by Lex Luthor and the MLF to a certain extent, coming in to basically bust open the gulag. And then standing on the sidelines, we have the United Nations and the entirety of humanity waiting with bated breath as to what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So the stakes are super high. This is like World War III level stakes if this was real life.
Yeah, this is like some actual insane, like, end of the world shit.
And so, unfortunately, Captain Marvel gets to the gulag before Superman. And he busts that baby wide open. And all of the rioters spill out, and then the Justice League fights them in a all-out battle. It is a huge battle royale. This is bigger than anything we've ever seen in the comic up to that point.
Yeah.
And Superman himself now has to fight Captain Marvel one-on-one. And to the horror of Norman McKay, who thought that by some chance these visions wouldn't come true, is now watching from the spirit realm along with the Spectre as absolute chaos and pandemonium ensues. And he now sees that Armageddon has arrived, as he has seen in visions. And during all of this, Norman is pleading with the Spectre to make it stop. But the Spectre says, you know, he cannot take action. Or he cannot take action yet. Because there must be a reckoning to it all.
Yeah.
Anyways, meanwhile, the United Nations General Assembly, basically, the Secretary General decides to take matters into his own hands. He decides that, you know what, we have to get rid of all of these superhumans once and for all. Right here, right now. They're all in one place. They're all in Kansas. There's nobody in Kansas except for them. We can get rid of them. And so essentially, nuclear bombs that are capable of killing metahumans, except for Superman, are put onto jets, and Black Hawk pilots are sent to do the unthinkable job of basically nuking like hundreds of superhumans.
Just trying to get rid of all of them.
And it's not good.
It's not a good look.
And back at the Gulag, the Justice League, it ain't going well for them. And it seems like they're going to lose until Batman's team shows up. And Batman confronts Wonder Woman after she kills Von Bach. And basically insults her, gets right to an exposed nerve. Basically says, maybe the real reason why you were stripped of your duties and heritage on Paradise Island was that you were not strong enough to stick with your mission. And she turns on Batman and basically takes him up into the stratosphere to deal with him. And they both see the planes armed with the nukes. They're coming. Disaster is coming. Voice crack.
Voice crack. Fucking out of nowhere, just fucking Godzilla just comes out of nowhere and goes like, "What the fuck is going on, bro? What the hell?" No, we're not talking about that fucking shitty ass DC Godzilla. Fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah, no. Anyways, they see the nukes coming, and they're on the planes, and Batman, oh god, gonna restart that sentence. Batman helps Wonder Woman to see that the cost of regaining her Amazon honor will cost the lives of not only herself, but also everybody else on the ground if she lets the bombs, drop onto the Gulag.
Yeah.
And so she helps Batman take out the planes. Unfortunately, though, one of them manages to drop a nuke. Now the stakes have raised so exponentially, and there's no turning back from this point. And back on the ground, Superman and Captain Marvel are going ham on each other, and Captain Marvel begins to basically rain down lightning onto Superman numerous times. And eventually, and these hits are making Superman bleed. He's taking them nonstop up until Superman grabs Billy Batson's or Captain Marvel's mouth before as he calls upon Shazam, and he turns back into Billy Batson. And he grabs his mouth and holds it shut, and he tries to reason with Batson, because it's like, look around you. Yeah. Look, there's destruction about to happen. There is a bomb that is going to kill everyone except for me. And I want you to think long and hard about whether you're going to stop me or not from letting this all happen. And eventually, and he lets go of Batson, and and Superman flies off to get rid of the bomb.
Yep.
However, Batson decides to turn into Captain Marvel again. He flies up. He grabs Superman by the ankle and flings him back down to the ground. Oh, excuse me. And grabs onto the bomb, and then he calls upon Shazam 3 times in a row. And the lightning ignites the bomb, and
Oh shit,
well,
dog.
there's nothing left but skeletons and Superman.
Oh, and that's a thing I want to say is that Shazam is like one of my favorite DC heroes, and that shit really, it hits you hard because you got to remember he's still technically like a kid, still in the story, and it sucks.
Yeah.
He sacrifices himself for Superman.
And absolutely enraged, because at this point Superman has done everything he could, and still hundreds of people are dead, just like the Daily Planet, just like his wife. Except this time there's nobody to tell him to not go absolutely ham and not to do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And so he decides, you know what? If that's how they want this, then I'm going to give it to them. Why did you mute yourself, you stupid motherfucker?
What the fuck was I supposed to do? I literally had somebody walk in. Sorry, they were very loud.
Well, tell them to shut the hell up. We're recording a video. Anyways, he decides, you know what? If this is how they want to play it, then I'm going to play their game, whether they like it or not. And he flies off to the United Nations in a fit of rage, and he seals the door shut. And he threatens to pull down the entire building upon everyone. Norman, however, and the Spectre see that Green Lantern was able to save some of the folks from the nuke. And so Norman basically says to the Spectre, "Hey, look, if there's anything we can do, it'd be to talk to Superman at the very least. So we have to go to him before it's too late." And they do. They go to the building, and they teleport in. And well, it's quite a sight to behold. Superman has finally decided to screw being good. He's going to kill everyone in revenge. And this is where the comparison comes in, and this is where a very important moment happens in the comic. Norman McKay, he talks Superman down. He says that he basically, he tries to make him see that humanity that he ignored for 10 years believed that he was the god, and then when he left, they felt sort of betrayed. And that there was no real communication between the two sides, in a way. And that with Superman leaving, that sort of just left them hopeless. And without any sort of, without any sort of comforting thought that, hey, somebody will come and save us.
Yeah.
And this is where we shall make our comparison to Injustice Superman.
Yeah.
Because
I know we've been like...
Because in comparison... Because yes, these two have similar beginnings of how everything goes. Lois Lane dies. Very sad. The Joker dies. But how the Joker dies, or who kills him, is very important. In Kingdom Come, Superman decides to stay by his moral code as a promise to Lois Lane to not kill the Joker when he apprehends him. Magog kills him, not Superman. In Injustice, however, he literally busts down the wall to the interrogation room in Gotham and flings Batman aside and punches a hole straight through Joker's chest.
Yeah. And this is where he completely starts the downfall and the downward spiral.
This is not a Superman that is...
This is...
This is probably for like a separate video, but there's a lot wrong with Injustice with its characters. But we're focusing on the Superman from that story. But the difference between Kingdom Come and Injustice is that whereas Injustice, oh my gosh, brain dead, Down syndrome. I can't say that.
Have you on back. You got this, buddy.
So, in Kingdom Come, Superman becomes authoritarian not because he wants to, but because he feels like he has to. But he still has the moral compass of Superman. He's like, well, I have to deal with all these rogue superhumans, but I don't have to kill them. I just have to imprison them and try to make them see the right way, whether they like it or not. In Injustice, there is none of that. If you go against Superman in the Injustice storyline, you're as good as dead. Because he kills everyone. Well, he doesn't kill everyone, but he kills Green Arrow. He kills Billy Batson, for crying out loud. He kills a child. He murders Lex Luthor. He murders Black Canary. He kills Green Arrow. He turns Robin against Batman. He does a lot of things. He does a lot of things that are more in line with a tyrant than someone who would be authoritarian, as in, I am the police officer and now you must obey the law. Whereas with Injustice Superman, it's, I am the police officer, and if you don't obey the law, I will fucking put a bullet in your head, you goddamn cunt. No. That was so fucking...
It's almost like that it's almost like
I gotta redo that. That's not good.
I would like to mention that, that reminds me of the time of Razor grabbing somebody by the fucking, like, with both of his hands and going like, I will crush your fucking skull if you don't speak.
So essentially, what I'm trying to get at here is the difference between these two Supermen is that Kingdom Come is not willing to kill. He is driven to that point, yes, but he is talked out of it. In a way, he's someone talks to him and reminds him that, look, There is a better way of doing things. In the Injustice comic, there isn't that. Instead, he just kills. He kills Green Arrow, and he kills a slew of characters, and essentially, the Kingdom Come Superman is essentially the authoritarian police officer. I am the policeman. Please obey the law, or you will be arrested. Kind of deal. And on the other, and whereas with Injustice Superman, you get, I'm the police officer. Obey the law, or I'm going to put a bullet in your head. And that's what makes Injustice Superman pretty so unlikable. And I'm not trying to speak for all Superman fans, because, everybody has different tastes and everything. But for me personally, that's why I don't really like him, because side rant here, Injustice Superman has skewed the image of Superman and created a slew of evil Superman clones, or dark and edgy Superman. Zack Snyder's Superman comes to mind. Homelander comes to mind. Omni-Man, a little bit, to a degree.
Yeah.
And and the list could go on. And it's like, why? And it all revolves back to why Kingdom Come was developed in the first place. It was developed as a message that all of these edgy comics and nihilistic storylines are not... It's not that they're not good, it's just that it's just that everything was so oversaturated with them that you couldn't walk down the street without somebody reading The Punisher or Judge Dredd or anything else.
And this is another thing, is I want to say something about myself, if you don't mind here, Clay.
Okay.
If you are like me and you read Spawn comics, Venom comics, and even the Berserk manga, you will know those are very fucking edgy and violent.
And dark.
Very dark. But there's two that really stand out of what I just named right there. And it's the fact that Berserk and Spawn has a sense of hope in it. Has a sense of hope for the main character to become better. And to be better. With the Punisher, there's nothing about that he's going to be better. He's just going to keep fucking doing what he's doing. At least Spawn and the main character Guts in Berserker wants the change. There's no change in the Punisher at all. Like how there's no change in Injustice Superman. There's nothing cool about a character. Okay, there is something cool about a character, being able to slaughter big demons and, a lot of people, but not to the point where it's a savage. It's not cool. It's not fun. That's why I preferably like reading Spawn. Because in the end, he's just a fucking man he's just a man trapped in a demon's body that wants to be better. And so it's Guts in Berserker. That he just wants to be better. The problem with the Punisher and the problem with Injustice Superman, it's just violent, no repercussions. That's it.
Except the only repercussion is that the mainline Superman comes over and kicks his ass.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where the character... I'm not going to... I'll explain this more in my own video, when I talk about it. But when it comes to characters, there needs to be a limit, a set limit. How far is this character going to go until he decides to stop? And yes, I know there's a recent Punisher story about him actually finally stopping, but it's been like what, 20, almost 30 years now, and it's still the same. He's the same old Punisher. That's it. Nothing much. Nothing more. And
Anywho,
yeah, anywho,
circling back to Kingdom Come,
yes,
and side rant over.
yeah,
Superman
for both of us.
Superman is talked down from basically annihilating the entire UN General Assembly, and
Yes.
he relents, and then is joined by the survivors of the battle and Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And he says to them, "Look, we are not going to try to lord over you anymore or try to be secretive. Instead, we are going to work forward through these problems together."
Yeah.
And
Like that's how Superman would want it too.
and working to earn the trust of humanity. And that's what makes Kingdom Come Superman so good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
despite all the death and destruction and all the chaos,
And despite all the pain that's brewing inside him and everything, losing his wife, Lois Lane, and everything, he still learns to find a way to power through it. And everything.
yeah. And
And this really goes to show, by just listening to somebody that you care about or even your friend, you can do anything with a little bit of motivation.
And by the end of it, and Superman hangs the cape of Captain Marvel on a flagpole as a memorial. And following this, everything begins to return back to normal. Batman turns his Wayne Manor that basically got arsoned into a hospital, and using Lex Luthor and many of his members of the MLF as the staff for the hospital. Wonder Woman is restored to her role as princess of Paradise Island. And Superman begins his work of turning Kansas into a fertile farmland once again.
Yeah. So, in the end, destruction comes with new life. New good in the world.
Yeah. And
that's what's so great.
Because at the very end of it, Kingdom Come Superman eventually achieved what he was trying to do in the first place. Peace.
World peace. And that's... See, that's why I like this Superman a lot, too. And like I touched on with All-Star Superman, this Superman still has humanity in him. He is a human like us. He has his limits.
Yeah.
Threatening to destroy a government was because he was angry. That what makes him human. Yes, was it a little out of... Well, no, it's not really out of character for Superman. It's just that Superman was really pissed because of his friend dying. And we all get mad. Fuck. We all get mad. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be at a drawing that you try drawing over and over, or or it could be somebody screwing you over, or your friend just being a dick. But in this case of Superman, almost seems like it was justified, but he was able to control that anger and go back to his human self. But yeah, no. This is a really good story.
And not only that, I want to touch on one issue of the Thy Kingdom Come Justice Society, or it's basically the Thy Kingdom Come or Thai or
Listen, we've been doing this for almost 2 hours, so
I've been recording for an hour and a half. So if anybody decides you can't speak, shut the fuck up. I already know.
Listen, we cannot speak for shit.
Anyways,
don't ask why I did that.
So essentially, the JSA comic book line, or in volume 3 of the JSA comics, Kingdom Come Superman is inspired into the mainline DC thing because there's going to be because Gog, which is an old god, comes to Earth to basically recreate the events of Kingdom Come. Anyways, besides that, there is an issue in the JSA, in volume 3 of the JSA comic line. I think it is oh yeah, by the way, in this comic line, this is where that funny comic panel of Kingdom Come Superman basically not moving at Hercules punching him dead in the face occurred.
I'm Hercules. I'm gonna. Fucking that's practically what happened.
And Superman was like, and an old man Superman was like, "Bruh, you ain't shit." Whoosh! Ah!
Yeah, he practically went like, "Bitch, get your bitch ass out of here." God, I'm making another thumbnail. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. I found it. So in issue 10 of volume 3 of the JSA comic run, Superman is at the JSA headquarters and he recounts to this character Obsidian about everything that happened in his reality prior to him, showing up in the mainline in the mainline canon of DC. And
yeah,
he's racked with guilt because it's essentially he's like he's very guilt ridden because many at the Daily Planet have died. Lois is dead, and then And then essentially and then, the superhuman battle at the Gulag, and then they die to a nuke. He's racked with, guilt that he wasn't able to save either group from meeting their untimely end.
Yeah.
And he's rather depressed about that. However, with his superhuman, or with his superhuman hearing, he hears someone. He hears a woman all the way in Manhattan on top of a building. And she says, "The world doesn't need me." And at that very moment, he's like, he puts aside his own personal problems and flies at, Superman speeds to save this woman from ending her own life.
And
that is, and that is so, and that's one of the trump cards in my mind in why Kingdom Come basically beats Injustice Superman story-wise and character-wise.
Yeah.
He set aside his own problems to save somebody else's life. Injustice Superman wouldn't have done that. He would have sat on his little throne and brooded over how to kill Batman and his friends.
Yeah. It would have been this. It's like what you just said. It would have just been him just sitting there like a fucking nihilist and an asshole and everything. There's a huge difference between the two. And it's so much more than a lot of people think it is.
And so with that, and so after and the rest of the Kingdom Come arc for the JSA issues 9 through whatever for volume 3, they're not important. So Kingdom Come Superman is sent back to his own world after the nukes explode. And then everything transpires as it should. And then in an epilogue, Superman and Wonder Woman have children. And then after that, Superman is Clark, really. He's an old man. But he looks up and he sees the Legion of Superheroes at the end of it all. And so the Kingdom Come reality ended up being one that, ended up having a good ending to it. One where everything turned out all right in the end, despite the extremely massive hurdles they had to jump to get there.
Yeah. And that what makes it very beautiful. Is that, like, both of these, there's a huge difference in quality and love in this story. And that what makes it really good to read.
Yeah.
And me and Clay have said it a few times that we would like to have, like, I know this is very out of nowhere, but why not? I guess I'll kind of touch on it. We have kind of explained that we would like to see an adaptation of this. We would.
It would have to be done the right way. And it had to be done faithful to the source material. And I know there are fan films of Kingdom Come out there. but a official DC property. I'm not talking about one of those crappy animated movies that didn't even get Red Sun or Injustice correct, but rather something within the DC movie, like something you'd go to a movie theater and watch. That's the kind of movie I want to see. Anyways, that's the end of covering the story. I don't really know if we have anything else really to add. Uh-oh. Oh no. Brody? Oh, well. I'm cutting this part out because, gosh darn it. There he goes. Mother trucker broski. I'm going to wait for him to rejoin. All right. Bruh. Okay, hold on. This is still getting cut out. Well, Nice time for the internet to get for it to die on everybody. Or at least to die on him. I mean, like, come on now.
Why the fuck did you do that? Okay, well, I was gonna tip on something, but I think that
Well, no, you can go on and tip on and add something on.
sorry, internet. Okay.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
right,
So for anybody watching, what happened was the internet, for whatever reason,
I'm gonna fucking be retarded.
yeah,
Don't.
yeah.
But anyways, there is something that I don't think a lot of people really like about Kingdom Come Superman is that he has this dad bod aesthetic, which actually looks really fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's hating on that?
Uh go to TikTok.
Oh,
That's all I have to say.
Their opinion is
That, no,
irrelevant.
no. Also, not only that, the fact that the entire thing about the way that this Superman looks, he looks strong. He looks, for some reason, he looks more powerful than the others
Mm-hmm.
too, and that's what I really like about Kingdom Come Superman. Okay, I'm gonna take this as a reference. You take the All-Star Superman that I was talking about, you take that picture to side by side, and you look at the two. One of them looks a lot more aged and looks like he's been in this for longer. You know?
Well,
Is
yeah,
that
obviously.
well, yeah, obviously. But that's what I'm trying to say. Instead of like, you know what, man? You know what? Fuck you. I don't know what to say. No, but seriously, like what I'm trying to say is that there's something more mature and much more stronger looking with Kingdom Come Superman. And yeah, as we can see that he's pretty damn pretty damn insanely strong in the other issues of the comic of that he's in.
Yeah.
But there is something that I always liked about Superman, and you can see this in my Spawn video and my Superman video. I like when a character is a completely different thing from a human, but they still have humanity in them, you know? That's what I always liked about him. That's why I like Goku. Goku not being a human, he acts more human than ever. He just likes to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Superman is, like I said in my video and many others, Superman is a man. That's why he has man in his name. Like,
He's been given extraordinary powers. But yet he does not lord over everyone. Except if you're except in the Injustice universe, then oof.
Fuck him. Fuck him. I get it. I don't know why. I just thought it was something really funny, but I don't even think it would be funny. I was just thinking of me when every time I said "fuck him," it's just Walter White flicking off the camera. But yeah, no. When it comes down to it, even in this one where tragedy and destruction and death was all happening, he was still human the entire time. And that's, yet again, very beautiful about Superman. But yeah, no, I very much enjoyed being on here with you. And
yeah,
I very much... This one was really fucking fun. As much as as much as on the internet we kind of go at each other's throats, or he says I'm fucking hot or whatever.
Well, you are.
We're just like, we're two fucking idiots that likes Superman and likes our characters a lot, and we have disagreements and we have agreements on things. So if you think that Injustice Superman is better than Kingdom Come, okay, but whatever. But it obviously it shows in the writing, and it's clear that you haven't read Kingdom Come yet, or even heard of him.
Or it's the only comic you've read, and if that's the case, I'd suggest you open up a little bit more and read some of the other Superman comics stories that are out there.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the ones that I want to read first is definitely All-Star. I'm hopefully going to get to that soon, and all that. And I mean, it's okay to start somewhere with a character, but I think if you want to start somewhere, you got to start somewhere where the main character is actually, well, a good man and not a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
And sadly I wasn't blessed enough with Spawn. but hey.
Anyways. That's all we have for this video.
Yep.
Like and subscribe for more. And subscribe to my boy Razor. He deserves it. Help him get to 100 subscribers.
Thank you very much. And I wanted to say...
Actually, no. Help him get to 1,000 subs.
Hold on! Oh, God. Okay, this is gonna... I don't know if you're gonna allow this on.
Make him big.
God damn it! Let me... okay, I would appreciate it, but... a lot. If you guys want to know more about my channel, right now, I'm just talking about characters, and I have 3 new videos coming out soon. Again, this one hopefully included if I can figure out how to download it. But If you guys are into Godzilla, in the DC or Marvel or Spawn or Berserker or anime in general, just I guess check me out. And one last thing to say before we all go: enjoy your comics, enjoy your movies, and enjoy your shows, and have a beautiful and wonderful day.
And with that said, I hope to see you all in the next video, which is probably a Minecraft video or something. I don't know.
That's a perfect way to end it.